I didn't want to make the kind of music he wanted to make. He wanted to be a pop star, and I don't write that way. I wanted to still have roots in intelligence, and he wanted songs about love affairs. There you go, Richie. Have another love affair, mate. None of your marriages worked out.
All right, so a recent article over at ultimateguitar.com by The Phoenician called Some Themes Weren't Him, What David Coverdale Really Thought of Ronnie James Dio brings up a couple of interesting points about Ronnie James Dio that I never really considered before. And this mainly has to do with how his voice matched up with Ritchie Blackmore and how his voice didn't match up with Ritchie Blackmore's decision to take the band Rainbow in a more pop direction. So in this article, David Coverdale is quoted first as praising Ronnie James Dio as one of the greatest vocalists who ever lived, and saying that his work, not only with Rainbow, but with Elf, Dio's earlier band, was off the charts brilliant. But he did have a criticism of Ronnie James Dio, and that was he felt that Dio suffered when he ventured into, quote, darker themes. So by this, you can assume that he was referencing Dio's work with Black Sabbath, as well as some of his solo album themes. And the reason that I mention this isn't so much to get into a discussion about light and dark themes in music as to discuss the decision that Ronnie made not to continue on with Rainbow when Ritchie Blackmore had decided to take the band in a more pop direction. And in this article, David Coverdale is quoted as saying that Ronnie was at his best when he was singing beautiful songs. And it got me to thinking, well, what would Street of Dreams or Stone Cold have sounded like if Ronnie James Dio had sung them instead of Joe Lynn Turner? And I'm not criticizing Joe Lynn Turner here at all. I think he did a great job with those songs. But as everybody knows who's a Rainbow fan or a Dio fan or a Joe Lynn Turner fan, Dio was not interested in doing the kind of music that Ritchie Blackmore decided he wanted to do for Rainbow, which was more pop song. Now you can find any number of interviews with Ronnie James Dio where he talks about his decision to leave the band Rainbow, and he says exactly the same thing. He did not want to do love songs. He doesn't trade in that kind of thing. He wanted to stick with his basic formula, which involved a lot of what you might call Dungeons and Dragons or mythological type imagery, and he believed that that decision served him well throughout his career. But what I'd like to know from you is, do you think Ronnie would have done a good job on the pop Rainbow material? Do you think he might have done a better job than Joe Lynn Turner? So tell me what you think down in the comment section below. And I gotta say something here. Before I read up on this article this morning, it would have never occurred to me to even pose this question. But now that I've posed the question, I think, oh man, Ronnie might have done a better job on those ballads, as sappy as they may be and as pop as they may be. He may have done as good or even better job than Joe Lynn Turner, although I'm not saying I have any problem with Joe Lynn Turner's performances at all. I like the pop version of Rainbow, as everybody knows, but I like the hard rock version much better. This is what I think, but what really matters is what you think. So if you have an idea about this or any other topic connected to classic or contemporary music, please drop it in the section below. And remember to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.
Music Guru here, asking you to help us on our march to 10,000 subscribers.